This is Radio Free Cybertron. I am Brian Kilby. With me this week, we have Donald Ferguson.
Hello.
We have Matt.
Hello.
Rob Clay.
Hi.
And Chris is back.
Yeah.
And in celebration of Rob Springer's birthday today, Diecast
Happy
is not
birthday,
here.
Rob.
Yeah,
That's the best gift you could give.
I keep thinking Rob and I are exactly the same age, but he's a year older than I am.
See, I thought you two were the same age also,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
you probably misled me.
Guess so. He's a year older and wiser. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, he's probably a few years wiser than most of us. He kind of
Yeah,
has that kind.
we
He
talked
has
about
that
this
kind of
birthday I
energy
got.
going on.
What?
You know.
Yeah.
He has that kind of energy going on.
He does. Yeah, cool. Okay, so let's see here. Hey, so we're not going to talk about it since I think only Don and I watched it, and Don's opinion is bad. So
No.
I have the official Radio Free Cybertron review of Botbots Season 1 posted to tfradio.net in the feed that you're listening to this in.
You may not like it, but my opinion is still valid, even if you don't agree with it.
I think no one will be surprised by Don's opinion of Botbots if they're familiar with his opinion of Teen Titans Go.
That is correct. It is correct.
Which Don, I was very careful to phrase that to not pass judgment on you, but just to give our listeners an idea of, what to expect and what parallel that has with opinions you've expressed in the past. That's all.
No, that's fine. That's totally understandable to give the context of the situation. It's just I have opinions and they differ from Brian's.
Yeah.
Yep. So
I have a lot of opinions that differ from Brian's too.
Yep.
I haven't watched Botbots yet to know if this is one of them, but
Yeah. So also History on the Fives, Rob recorded the newest episode yesterday. Awesome. Thank you, Rob. I haven't had a chance to edit yet. I literally just posted yesterday to the Patreon the episode Diecast recorded last week. So that will be in the public feed before you hear the next week's episode of RFC.
Cool.
And eventually I will have a feed all its own. But right now, it's just living in the Radio Free Cybertron, all of our Transformers podcast feed. So,
although they'll always be findable there too, even when it has its own feed, because it's one of our Transformers podcasts.
Yeah, and it'll be at the beginning of the month, probably by the time you hear this. That's really the time to sign up for our Patreon at patreon.com/tfradio. You can just hear it when I post it. Like, you don't even have to wait. Patrons get it a week early.
But there's also never a bad time to sign up for our Patreon.
There's never a bad time to sign up for our Patreon.
Because no matter when you sign up for our Patreon at patreon.com/tfradio, you could have the chance to be on History on the Fives if you wanted to pursue that. And why wouldn't you? If you sign up as a touch tier, you can send Brian an email, maybe even reach out on Twitter. I don't know, but just get in touch and we'll see what we can do about that. Because it's a pretty cool perk to have. I've been on a couple of those recordings, and it's
a lot of
interesting.
Fun. It's fun. It really is fun. So yeah. Let's see here. Definitely worth doing. And I don't think we have any more plugs. Done. Time to shill your cruise. Why don't you do that? Let's do that at the beginning of the show.
Okay, I will do that. And for those of you who are new to the show or who have short-term memory loss, I am getting married. I'm getting married this October to a wonderful woman who loves me. Why? I have no idea.
We all love you. We just aren't going to marry you.
Yes, that's true. So we have decided, with the length of time that we have off and to not spend a day and a half traveling somewhere to get somewhere, we have decided to take a cruise, and we are registered with Carnival Cruise Lines. And if you are in a position to help and would like to help us enjoy the cruise a little bit more, right after paying for the wedding and everything, it's carnival.honeymoonwishes.com. You can put in my name, Donald Ferguson. And if you're in a position to help out, there's a few things on there, some gifts, some gift certificates for on-board use, a few more pictures, a shave experience for myself, Just a few small things that we can add
How
a little
much
bit more
do we have to
it.
pay to have a waxing experience for you, Don?
There-
Is that
There
a
is-
stretch goal?
I'm not on video, but I had the exact same look on my face that Kilby did when Don mentioned the shave experience, and then I think me and Kilby immediately the waxing experience, but he got there first.
Yes.
That will not be happening. It's some small things like an onboard cruise credit, a couple's massage.
Do you massage each other? Can't you do that for free?
No.
Okay.
It's like the hot stone, supposedly, like all that, like that. So again, if you're in a position and you would like to help out, because we are paying for
This
the wedding
man is giving
and
you
everything
years
else.
of entertainment, people.
So,
Depending how long you've been in the fandom, like, up to like 25, 30 years of
30
entertainment.
years.
I was the fandom before there was a fandom.
Yeah.
I was there when it started.
Yep.
Don is Vector Sigma.
Dawn is Vector Sigma. Cool. Okay.
Before Transformers I was.
Let's see here. Let's jump into the news. We might as well. Legacy Deluxe crankcase. Sorry, I'm getting choked up again. I'm gonna have to mute. Crankcase listing published early. Sorry. Yes. So it's on Amazon. You can't buy it yet. You can't really pre-order it yet, but it's on Amazon. Who wants it?
Yeah. I mean, it'd be interesting to see how, because he is basically as G1 gets, other than the Trigger Con feature. So I can't see them.
When did the
putting
Trigger Cons come out? 87?
I think it was 88.
7 or
So he's a
88?
late
87.
G1er.
Yeah. He's near the end, right before they went over to Pretenders and Action Match. At least
That would've
Action
been-
Masters.
that would have been closer to Action Master. So
Right. So I can't see them putting that mechanism in there.
Oh no.
If they're sticking with the Energon gimmick. So maybe there's a part that folds down and you attach Energon cannons like you would for pipes.
Well,
and they're
Don,
also,
actually, if you read, I know, Don, you tried to, keep running a low profile here, but it actually says in the product copy here, remove the front grille vehicle mode, reveal large blaster accessory.
Yeah. So
okay, sorry, I did not know that
So-
thing.
Yeah,
But,
no,
like,
that's why I'm pointing it out.
I guess he is not one of the most well-known later G1 toys or characters. He's not like unheard of. People have, know who Crankcase is. But who's left? What's left at this point? G1 is played out, man.
There were other Trigger Cons.
Yeah,
two more. There were two more.
Windsweeper,
Winds-
Override,
Yeah.
Backstreet.
Oh. Was there four?
There was another Decepticon. I think there were 3 of each.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, it was a Ruckus.
Yeah.
Ruckus,
Oh, yeah.
Ruckus, Windsweeper, Crankcase, Override, Backstreet, and Dogfight.
But they're in G1 there's not much left. You know what we still don't have? Thunderclash.
No, we do not.
I mean,
we don't
Thunderclash
have
obviously
any
isn't gonna
of
be
the
a
Turbo
deluxe.
Masters.
Hopefully.
and that is what really is cheesing me off the most. The last 4 or 5 years.
I want a damn
when
Skyquake.
Yeah, when we've gone down this super G1 well, but you have all those British designs that have not been touched. Hell,
Snare,
Super 7
Stalker.
has
We got a Rotor
Sup-
Storm a couple years
Yeah.
ago.
Uh-huh.
yes, Super 7 has done more with British Transformers with their bombshell and tracks than Hasbro has in 20 years.
I think it's fine for right now. I would rather wait until they're out of their clear plastic phase that they're going through right now before they get to the Turbo Masters. Let them get that out of their system and then make us good toys.
Now, Black Knife raises a question about iguanas. I like the idea of the Pretender shell becoming something. I think that's as close as we're going to get to Pretenders.
Wait, did Carl go back to Black Knife? What about his other screen name?
I thought that was just on Twitter.
Oh, okay.
I was just pointing out because I can see why some people think that it was kind of like, but I don't see them doing Pretenders at today's cost restrictions
Nobody wants Pretenders.
better than what they. I mean,
except for us.
you know,
I don't even really.
Yeah.
In most cases.
I'll take the little inner robots like they're doing with Iguanas. That's fine. But
Yeah, I mean,
full-blown Pretenders, no, I don't need.
Yeah,
I
it's
want
just
the actual
yeah.
Pretenders.
Yeah, it's just the fact that I mean, that's the closest we're going to get to Pretenders, I think, in a viable concept right now.
Yeah.
But that's about as late G1 as you can get without going to Action Masters, and we've got that with Red and Super 7.
So as far as Pretenders go, I was fine with the little suits we got in Power of the Primes. Like, they could have stopped there.
Yeah, I like this.
They should have stopped probably right before they got to that. No, like, for me, what they did with like Bludgeon in Robots in Disguise in 2015 is probably the best way to go about that, which is what they're doing with Iguanas, is fusing the Pretender shell with the inner robot to get the best of both. And it's the same thing that in early IDW they were doing, trying to redesign Thunderwing too. Like, get something that looks like Thunderwing but can actually transform and not be a Pretender shell, which still waiting for my toy of that.
Yeah. I mean, Brian, you're kind of right, though, because when you say what else is left, if you take out Micromasters, which apparently was a dismal failure, and I think they were, because there's hardly anything in there worth remembering with any fondness that we got, and you can't go to Action Masters because Red is kind of covering that.
Well, what you would do is adapt Action Masters back into transforming characters, like with Jackpot.
Yeah. Okay, that's true.
And like, I would totally be up for something like Skyfall. Skyfall's a really interesting design. I would like a good Bonsai-tron,
Yeah.
I would like the Action Master characters to be revisited as transforming toys.
I'd take another Big Daddy.
But I'm saying that's what makes it so frustrating about the entire British product line. Is just sitting there with characters that could need updates, and it's not been touched
for the most part.
I just don't know what the deal is on that.
I mean, like the big ones: Skyquake, Stalker, Rotor Storm, Thunderclash.
My only problem with stuff like Thunderclash or Stalker, well, less Stalker, more Skyquake, is Hasbro is still currently in a feeling of using gold plastic, and I'm not convinced yet that the gold plastic they're using is not going to do the same thing the old gold plastic did, given enough time, or perhaps not even all that much time. That's I want that issue resolved before we really get deep into stuff that's going to rely on that a lot. Do you remember the Titans Return box sets? There was the Metal Hawk made from the Trigger Happy mold. That has a lot of gold plastic in it too, and I legitimately am afraid to handle that very much, despite that I love it and it's a beautiful toy, just because I'm afraid that plastic is going to break.
Yeah, that toy's up on my shelf. I don't touch it.
Yeah, and that's a damn shame.
Yeah. But like with some of the Turbo Masters, I'm sure at this point you'd probably have to change some of their names, because some of them are fairly generic or close
Boss,
to other
Hurricane,
Flash. Close to other copyrighted names. Yeah, but still, keep the spirit alive. Get them close enough. I can take some new names, but
yeah. So, Chris, in pre-show we were talking about like why, and you said there's a perfectly logical explanation as to why they're doing Crankcase and Legacy.
Yeah, because Crankcase hit the same shape as Skids.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was very afraid that that was the first thing that popped into my head. I'm like, oh god, he's gonna be repainting Skids. But then you said something about the grill coming off.
Yeah, I mean, it'll have alternate parts, and I'm sure we'll still see at least crosscut, if not reboost, redecoed off of Skids more directly. But
if they're making Crankcase, I mean, that's a black version of the mold, so that pretty much leaves Burnout, off the list.
Yeah, that's a little unfortunate, but I mean, that could just be something they would offset by a year.
And it's also possible they might do a Selects as Skids and Mudflap.
Oh, I hope not.
I'm just saying, at this price point, a 2-pack reissue with Skids and Mudflap, or
the colors of the e-hobby set, you mean?
Yeah, sort of like that. Or they could do some of those Selects, some of those you were talking about, like Reboost and Crosscut as Selects, if they wanted to go that route as well.
I mean, yeah, they could technically do to that skids mold what they did to the Siege Sideswipe mold and just put it out in every color over and over and over again and not run out of characters anytime soon.
Yep. Okay. Anything else on that one? Nope.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Hey, there are mouse pads and stuff coming out, I guess. From Icon Heroes.
Yep. We talked about this last year sometime. This is the new batch of stuff. I kind of like the faction symbol bookends.
The bookends are pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
They would break. I'm worried, but.
And I do appreciate the pins. Still, I talked about this the last time this came up. I appreciate the pins, like, representing classic box art.
Yeah.
The previous set was a little more interesting because, like, one of the pins was toy art Ironhide, whereas this is just Ravage, which is the most repeated piece of toy character art ever in Transformers. Because like a ton of comic book appearances just trace the toy box art. So Ravage was always just in a leaping pose every time he was in a comic book panel. In the 80s, I should specify. But I still like they're making that be a thing for people who are really into the package art stuff. The Devastator mouse pads aren't really doing anything for me, and they're calling the Optimus Prime thing an action statue. I looked at the product description. You know what the action is?
What?
The head turns.
Nice. Okay.
I mean, heck, even the Staction statue figures from a few years ago had at least movable arms and heads.
Action statue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The action isn't alive.
No, not really.
Yeah. It's not alive. What else do we have? Oh, Hasbro Pulse opens business in Germany.
Yeah. That was interesting.
Now Germany can suffer along with the rest of us trying to get product.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Hasbro Pulse UK actually seems to be doing pretty good for them now, from what I've seen, the people I follow on Twitter. In the US, Pulse lags behind a lot of the other stuff, but in the UK, Pulse seems to actually keep up decently, and it may be the same for the German market. So this might be somewhat more beneficial for them than it has been for us.
And
so, I mean, it's just in general, it's good that they're trying to expand their operations more internationally, because that's been like a major point of contention ever since Pulse launched.
Yeah. It just seems like launching another international division when the US division has so many issues, it's like
one doesn't have anything to do with the other, though. Like, they can't put the resources in, except it's different resources. It's, they can't just like take the money from the German application of Pulse and say, we're going to bring that back here and like, magically fix what the community thinks is the problems with Hasbro Pulse here, which is stuff that I don't really think they can fix, even if they wanted to throw unlimited resources at it. They would have to change everything up. They'd have to get like a completely different logistics company to handle it that might be able to work on a different timeline or whatever. But like, it's not any kind of simple fix that they could do just by not opening a German branch right now.
Yeah, you're right. I was a little salty there, and I apologize. It's just there's just so many problems that Pulse still has that they seem to just be completely not looking at fixing 3 to 4 years out, and it's
there's definitely things that need to be addressed. You are not wrong about that. Just I don't think that denying Germany their own Hasbro Pulse would open the door to fixing them.
Yeah, that was a little jerky of me, so I apologize.
I mean, like, first and foremost in my mind is it'd be nice to be able to actually return defective products to Hasbro Pulse instead of having to contact Hasbro's general customer service and request a replacement toy or have it sent back to a clearinghouse to eventually hopefully get a refund check 8 to 12 weeks later. None of which to me is an acceptable solution for a toy that came defective from the factory at no fault of my own. Like, it's one thing if I got it and I decided I didn't want it and I wanted to return it. At that point, it's within their rights to decline that, or say, yeah, fine, do this, this, and this, but it's going to take a while. But yeah, for satisfying a defective product and a refund taking, in my experience, up to 3 months, or getting a replacement product that's not going to be anything remotely the same, yeah, that's the biggest problem they need to fix.
Yeah. So one more thing I want to talk about this week, as far as the news goes. Walmart Collectors Con, and I love that it's a con.
It's definitely a con.
So when I was scripting the news desk for that last week, I really wanted to try to lean into that, but I also thought, like, I really shouldn't. People know.
Yeah.
People know. Also, between the time I wrote the Collectors Con thing and the time I recorded, the Botbots stuff came out, so I added all that. It changed the overall tone of it to be more positive. So then I definitely didn't want to do the con thing in it, because just like, yeah, let's just focus on the Botbots instead.
Yeah. So, it kind of worked, sort of worked. Some of the things you could order, some of them I could never get. Fortunately, Hasbro Pulse put the things I couldn't get up for pre-order, and I was able to snag them. So,
as I've said before, and I'll say it again, it should not be this hard to give people money for toys. And they've been doing this long enough to see the customer feedback, both Target's Haulathon and this CollectorCon have been done in some variation before now, and nothing has improved. And it seems like nothing is going to improve because they just don't care.
well,
Everybody
don't care.
keeps
It's that the
buying from them, so why should
Yes,
they care?
Yeah.
You keep
Yeah.
giving them your money.
It's not that they
It
don't
makes
care.
no difference to them.
It's not that they don't care. It's the people that are putting together the Haulathon or whatever the hell it's called and the Collector's Con are not the people who push the buttons to make Walmart.com work. And they don't, and communication's not great. Maybe the technology they have isn't great. And it's not our fault, not our problem. I mean, I guess it is our problem ultimately because we can't buy it. But, big companies like that, if everybody's not aligned, you get failures like this, and that's just what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's frustrating for me, and I've said this before, and I apologize, I'm a broken record. As a business major and someone who looks at the money aspect, they are literally leaving money on the table by making a subpar experience, and they're also creating customer dissatisfaction.
As somebody who's worked at the corporate level for a major worldwide retailer in dealing with this exact stuff, shit happens. And
Well, there's our PG-13.
yeah,
Yeah, but you would at least expect something to have gotten better by now.
yeah, you would have.
But
But you know what?
I didn't.
But you know what? I hate to put it this way, but Walmart's not going to overhaul their e-commerce platform just so I can buy a Transformers Red figure. I
That you don't even really want anyway.
That's not
Right, yeah,
that's actually not leaving money on the table. If Walmart did that just to facilitate me buying a Red figure, they would actually be losing money.
Right. Again, I know I'm looking at it from this completely opposite viewpoint of
Not a
99%.
business major though, so I could be wrong.
No, but it's just the fact that if they're trying to get people to come to them as a go-to source for collectible items, yes, they've got people buying stuff, but they'll get more people buying stuff if they make the experience better.
Hey, so Don, let's look at it this way. It might cost them $750 million to fix the problem. That's a lot of Transformers that they're never going to sell.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money. And if they're making lots of money off of it now, and it's a little inconvenient for me to buy a Destro figure, they don't care. And ultimately, they're still making money. I mean, it sucks, but they're not really leaving money on the table in that case. I mean, sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. Sometimes money is actually not left on the table. It's Schrodinger's money.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but basically, they're getting enough money that any problems that they could resolve to get more money isn't worth getting the more money
The
for.
juice is not worth the squeeze. Yep. So, sorry. This is just one of those things that
I
it's
mean,
painful to deal
ultimately,
with. It really
and
sucks.
ultimately here, what it really comes down to is, does it really matter if it's hard to place the pre-order when you know the pre-order is never going to get filled in the first place?
Yeah. Now, where I don't think there's any excuse done with your logic is Hasbro Pulse, because it's not going to take $750 million to fix Hasbro Pulse. Not at all. I think that for their, like, with their account history, like the purchase history, there's no excuse for that. That could probably be done with CSS. That could probably be done in an afternoon.
Oh, right, that one particular problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that would be easy to, like, Ness in our Discord, tfradio.net/Discord, talks frequently about how bad an implementation of that storefront software Hasbro Pulse actually is.
Yeah.
It doesn't remotely have to be that way. It just is.
Yeah. That one I don't know. Yeah.
Ness says he can fix everything. Also, he says radio money, cyber money.
Cool. Okay. Anything else news-wise? Don, what you looking at? What was that?
It was Cyberverse Dead End. He fell over, and I was trying to fix his feet to fix him.
Do you like it? Have we talked about that one?
No, he's okay. It was more like I haven't seen anything new in a while. This doesn't look like total crap, so I'm gonna try it. It's not total crap. It's better than Authentics.
I wish I liked Cyberverse better. Some figures are great, some figures not so much. It's hit and miss. Okay, let's jump to what we got this week. Chris, you want to go first? Don, go first. Don, go first.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, I've got very little, but I got something I want to show off. First things first, I want to show off what Christy got me, a box of Thin Mints. Thank you very much, Christy. I love my Thin Mints.
Christy, way to go.
Yes.
Don, does your Walmart sell, your local Walmart, do they sell the knockoff Thin Mints?
Yeah, we've got the Walmart branded this one. Target has one. So everyone has a version of that.
They're good.
Off topic, I picked up, just came today. One of the pieces I never saw locally. I'm a big Incredibles fan, as y'all know. Yep. And I picked up the Talking Violet, which I have never seen. I never saw in the stores. And I got it for basically retail and shipping. And that was it. So that'll help complete my Incredibles collection. Also, thanks to Brian, I got Fire Convoy.
You got that a while ago. I saw pictures of that.
Yeah. I just forgot to talk about it. When eBay screwed up and did Fire Convoy,
yes. Never mind.
Convoy, yeah. When eBay screwed up and didn't take out the right amount of collect the right amount of shipping, they screwed me out of about $10. Well, they gave me a $10 credit. This was $12.95 with free shipping, so I went ahead and picked it up. It's going to go on my Fire Convoy Prime shelf when I get it done. Last thing I got it the other day. Silver Streak.
Nice.
Oh,
yep.
Jealous.
Yep. I got a Silver Streak. Nothing because I've been going to my Target every day on lunch. I've got the DPCI codes, and I check every couple of days. I don't want to be a bother because I'm also looking for that NECA Demona for myself and for my friend Icon 45, which we've got nothing locally. But yeah, this is all they had since I found your cup. That's the only thing new they've had for Transformers since I found Cup.
Wow.
Yeah, everything else. Well, no, I'm sorry. They got in the $7.99 half transforming Scout Legends.
Scout class.
Scout class, yeah, which I don't want any of that.
Cyberverse.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is about that Dots mold that looks so good in blue, but it always does.
See, I thought this was the Cyberverse Prowl mold. I didn't realize it's the actual Earth Mode Dotson Brother mold.
I think it's the smoke screen. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would also buy the Cyberverse Prowl mold in the Diaclone Blue Streak colors.
Oh yeah.
So I was real happy to find that, but again, it's just been nothing else. That's all I've got.
Okay, Chris.
All right, so I got Core Class Hot Rod
Oh,
off
jealous.
of Amazon. I mean, you don't really need to be that much. So the copy I have has useless knees. The ball joints are super loose. It's fixable, of course, but I shouldn't have to. One case of fangry knees in a 12-month period is more than enough for me. But like, I'm not too disappointed because like the transformation on it is actually really cool and involved. It kind of keeps up that core class thing of really punching above its size class for how it's engineered. I would say at this rate, the like Megatron's borderline and the vertebrake mold is probably the loser in terms of transformation complexity, but like core class in general has been really impressive with the engineering they tried to pack into these, and Hot Rod is no exception. And the vehicle mode looks really cool. The robot mode's okay too, and I can generally get this to just like kind of stand up, but like it really is going to need some floor polish on those knee joints. That was very sad, taking out the package and just having one of the legs immediately just start dangling basically as I moved it. Funny in one way, but disappointing in another. And this did come in Kingdom packaging. They didn't like start shipping out the legacy packaged ones yet, but I imagine that'll be coming before too long because Amazon has started to put in their legacy version product pages for the rerun molds like Galvatron and Blaster. So like that's a little bit disappointing, but generally I'm happy with it, and the problems I have with it can be fixed pretty easily. So like that's not going to be too bad. What I also got was skids. And skids I have some complicated thoughts about. So in terms of general like handling and feel, skids is a lot like the Earthrise Datsun if they got everything wrong.
Oh boy.
Like it's doing a lot of the same kind of engineering and a lot of the same movements. And even a lot of the same way that things want to tab together, but every part of what it's doing feels bad and like it's fighting you. And the way the materials kind of, okay, so like, there's different kinds of plastics, and plastics don't need to inherently have a specific texture, but like some of the nylon parts have a very rough texture, and they're right up against ABS parts with a very smooth texture. So like even though the color matches surprisingly well, the texture on there is making it stand out really bad. If you remember, our good old friend Reveal the Shield Jazz and what happens when you lift its arms in robot mode, Skids does the same thing where the hood just pops up like that. So that's a fun throwback. And in transforming, like, it's not entirely intuitive immediately how the arms are supposed to fold in, because you kind of have to crank up the shoulders further than it seems like they should to get the forearms to fit where they need to. There's tabs along the sides of the robot torso that's supposed to hold them in, but when you're doing this for the first couple times, it's not really obvious that that is going to be able to tab in there, and the side panels of the car will not close up right that way. And I had to fight with that for a little while. And then getting the roof, the legs, and the side panels, the doors, to all close together was a huge fight, and I'm still not sure how I actually succeeded in doing it once. But like, if you thought that it was a pain to get that Datsun mold to like seat together and not have big seam gaps, this is a lot worse.
All of the Legacy Deluxes so far,
frustrating kind of experience.
Yeah, all the Legacy Deluxes so far are just not fun to transform.
That's unfortunate. This is the only one that I have because I wasn't going to get RC because I mean, I knew just looking at it, I don't want to get RC, but then I've also heard about, it falling apart during transformation pretty commonly.
It does.
I don't want to make any pronouncements about my thoughts about Legacy in general until I get at least one more deluxe in hand to feel what it feels like. I'm not encouraged so far. I will say that, but like Skids is just frustrating for me because like its similarity to that Datsun mold, which I love so much. Like this could have been a fantastic deluxe Autobot car, and it just isn't. All the execution is just not there. Also, I want to point out, Hey Mickey tweeted his Twitter account's private, unfortunately. So unless he
want to
lets you
retweet his
follow
stuff so
him,
often, I can't.
yeah. So Skids has that double blaster that's supposed to plug into the forearm. Hey Mickey advises very strongly to not plug that all the way down into the forearm because it will rip the peg off of that blaster, and you'll never get it out of the arm again. And I had concerns about that the day before, because I tried plugging that into both forearms and it did not want to go down very far into that 5mm port, and I was not going to take the risk. I'm sorry that, he ended up having to and confirming my fears, but yeah, be very careful about that because it can and will break. The one positive thing I will say about this is that the clear plastic portions, which are the car roof and the car doors, I don't feel like are situated in such a way where I need to be worried about them breaking under normal use. They're not really super structural parts. So that's at least one positive thing about it. But yeah, I'm not especially thrilled with this. Hey, Mickey actually likes this, apart from the part where, the peg broke off in the arm, which basically kind of conforms to our general feelings about modern generations. He will love it and I will hate it, or I will love it and he will hate it. It's just kind of the gauntlet we run there. So pretty consistent in that. It may feel perfectly fine for you when you get your hands on it, but yeah, it is totally not doing it for me, unfortunately. Blade Raider is in Discord asking how it compares to throwing 30 Skids. I like that Skids for like the flip out weapons and stuff, and for specifically being IDW Skids. I acknowledge it's not that well designed of a robot toy, but like in some ways I do like it better than this. In other ways, this is still like a better Transformer, and if you want the cartoon or G1 toy appearance, this is going to give that to you. So probably in general, you would prefer this one to the Thrilling 30 one.
That Thrilling 30 one had really limited shoulders too.
Yeah,
it did. It really did.
Was hard to stand.
I find any comparison typically to a toy that old from generations to modern stuff to be more modern stuff to be almost pointless, because typically the appearance of the robot mode is much more accurate now, but the toys are less fun usually and smaller.
Yeah.
Those Skids the Thrilling 30 Skids was on the small side, so I don't know how that would work out.
Mm-hmm.
But it was also super IDW influenced, so it really doesn't fit in with current day generations.
Yeah.
It's also 10 years old. So
yeah, it's a difficult comparison to make. This does a lot of like basic function things theoretically better, but I'm just not that satisfied with the execution. But when I handled the other Skids originally, I wasn't really satisfied with the execution of that either. It wasn't until the Crosscut recolor came out that I started to like the mold more.
I love that.
That's such a great toy.
It looks and feels different. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping a recolor or a retool of this, such as Crankcase, will resolve some of the feel issues I have with this, but I'm not going to be super optimistic about that.
Not.
Yeah, but that's all I got this week.
So I was reserving my judgment on these until I had a chance to play with them more, and I just generally don't find the transformations fun or even intuitive. I like intuiting my way through toys. Like Skid's issue is exactly what you said, just getting it to piece together. RC just doesn't necessarily even make sense in some cases. Like I was trying to get it to work. This style, like a motorcycle, often it isn't the most intuitive transformation anyway, because of how it goes from being very 3D to semi 2D. So that's often a challenge. I didn't have any hope for Kickback, just in general. Just something about him is just, he's my least favorite of the four. I actually like drag strips robot mode because it was just so different from Combiner Wars. But I just find the vehicle mode really lacking. Just the size of the wheels and everything. Maybe it's true to life. I don't know. But in pre-show, I was saying he's supposed to be like a realistic, semi-realistic vehicle. But to me, he more comes off across like Beast Machine's Mirage or something. He just doesn't look right. And I just didn't like the transformation either. I guess I like Bulkhead a little better. But, you know, there's more to do with him since he's larger and more complex.
It seems like the best thing that's come out of Legacy so far, technically, is Blaster, because Blaster was designed for Legacy.
He's great.
And pushed up into the last wave of Kingdom instead.
Yeah, Blaster's great. My only issue was something that was my fault where I stressed the plastic. Just being careless.
Okay.
Rob, did you get anything?
Just one thing. As thanks for hosting History on the Fives for a week, I sent Diecast something off of his Amazon wish list to tfradio.net/diecast
Oh,
list.
cool. He mentioned something. I didn't know what he was talking about though.
Yeah, I got him the first volume, the first box set of Challenge of the GoBots. So
nice.
Oh.
Yeah, and in return, he sent me the Blu-ray box set of Cowboy Bebop, which
cool.
Nice.
Yeah, that is
That's
we're
great.
talking about the original animation there, not the newer show. And excellent show, still one of my favorites. Every house should have one. So I'm really happy to have that, and I really appreciate it. So if you're listening, Diecast, thank you very much. It was really nice of you to think of me.
Hey Rob, quick question: How
Yes.
far up did that GoBot set go? Do you happen to remember what the episode run was for the first season?
I do not.
Okay,
But it is up on Amazon if you want to take a look.
I think there were only like 2 sets of GoBot DVDs, weren't there?
Yeah, the other one is still on his list, I believe. But yeah, there were. I only saw 2, so that's all I know at the moment. Honestly, this is
Real quick, I'm looking in the Discord, tfradio.net/discord, and Jay Holla saying that they have no issues that Chris saw or that I saw with Skids. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I want people to like these things.
Yeah, me too. I don't want to be sitting here being negative about the toy. Just I'm not gonna lie about my experience either.
Yeah, exactly. Like I'm still excited about Legacy and what it has to hold.
Yeah, I'm not writing this off at all. I've already made the decision. I'm going to be more selective in what I purchased this year, largely because of the price increases and just like some of the character choices and stuff. But I'm not writing Transformers off this year. I'm going to try to be as positive about it as I can. No, I'm not trying to sit here and poo-poo all over the whole thing.
Especially at the Voyager scale and higher, I think it's going to be really awesome.
Kara got Laser Prime this week, and wasn't super impressed.
Oh, my biggest issue is lack of the sticker on the trailer. That's my biggest problem.
I think that came up a little bit, but there was other things too.
Yeah. Cool. Matt, did you have anything?
Yeah. So it's funny that Chris had mentioned Fangry, because I finally got my Fangry from the Worlds Collide box set.
Nice. Who parted with it?
I got it off eBay.
Oh,
so
has the price come down, or did you
Yes, that's why I bought it.
Okay.
Oh, hey.
Yes, it was actually very reasonably priced.
sweet.
Much less than the box set it came in. So,
I mean, the thing is with that box set, when we first saw the pictures of it, when it was mistakenly found at a Walmart of all things,
By Ryan?
Don's actually got one. Yeah. Fangry was the thing that we all latched onto immediately with that, but as people started getting them and examining it more, the Optimus Primal, the Nemesis Primal, and the Black Arachnia were much more the things people cared about in that. So I'm not super surprised Fangry's aftermarket price has kind of dropped.
That box set does not go for as much as I thought it would.
No.
$105. Which is less, which is about what it was going for when it was new.
No,
on eBay.
It was
on eBay. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
$84.99.
that's more than retail.
That's what. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, on eBay it was selling for about $100, and that hasn't changed.
No, you can get pretty much anything out of that set for a reasonable price now
Yeah.
on eBay.
Yeah,
But I mean, he does have the weak knees, but I mean, he will stand.
uh-huh.
So
Oh, 75
if you-
bucks for this one. Oh, that
And
was
if you
didn't
have
pay
it-
that
Prime.
much.
Okay.
I didn't pay that much.
Yeah, okay.
If you have it in the alternate mode too, it doesn't even matter that the knees are a little loose.
Yeah. I like the robot mode though. I like the green on the robot face. It really stands out against the,
Yeah,
the,
yeah, it does.
the black and purple. And the other thing I got only Don will truly appreciate. I got Marvel Legends Quasar.
Nice.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah, he went back up on Walgreens along with Binary and Zemo, and I already had the other two, so I went ahead and grabbed him too.
The only thing I wish is he had early on. He was using the battering ram. That was the little ram. Like I wish they had some more constructs, or at least one different one. But I mean, I love the figure.
I wish they'd just come up with some new energy effects, because I mean, how many of these freaking flame fists can you get? It's starting to turn into the freaking Magneto swirly bubble.
In general, I'm tired of effects parts. I would rather have more
Yes.
complex toys and effects parts. Like,
Well,
especially
I mean-
Legacy. I just give.
Yeah, but-
I don't need all that stuff.
Yeah, well, some characters need at least one effects part.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. But a lot of times you could just get by with one that's you've had in another toy.
Yeah, well, it's like when you got Trichronicus, it was all Jetfire reissues. It's like I would have rather have saved the whatever amount those cost and just got a cheaper flaming dinosaur.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anytime I get those effects, they all go in a Tupperware container, just like mashed together. I'm going to end up with
Mine
just
are in the
one
bottom of
big
bins.
one big gelatinous clump of
Yeah.
effects part. And
Well,
Yeah.
Matt, are there any third-party people that does add-on effects for characters that need XYZ for the Marvel Legends?
I've never thought to look. I don't know.
Cool. Anything else, Matt?
No, just those two things.
Okay. I was I was very excited to.
Yes, I've been looking forward to this.
Okay. Thanks, Rob Springer, for pointing this out, and Ant for basically shaming me into getting it. I got Archie Bunker's grandson, Joey Stivic,
Ah!
the anatomically correct doll
Oh no!
Oh wow.
from like 1977. Don's face. It's in the
The
box.
hell?
It's
So I didn't know that
The
exists.
box is worth it just for the retroness of it. But
Yeah, it's from Ideal. So if you remember them,
I do.
yeah, the box is amazing. So the box is not in the best shape. Like the glue holding the seam here in the back together. I
Yeah.
can fix that if I want to, but I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
It's still pretty decent display quality
It looks
though.
great in the box.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I cannot tell you how happy I was to get this. I'm not going to get it out because he is anatomically correct and I don't want to show it off.
Uh-huh.
But he's got all that. And that's what I got. Oh, wait, also got Galaxy Shuttle. So,
Ooh.
Nice.
Oh, by the way, I just got Galaxy Shuttle. I love that.
I mean, I see Brian's priorities here. Honestly, I really do.
yeah.
But I
So-
also get Don's outrage.
So this is the Zone version. So he was also released in Victory. So this is the second release. I do not have Countdown for him to go with yet. Countdown is toys that I want a really nice boxed one. If you notice, I typically buy boxed Japanese stuff because there's more boxed Japanese stuff out there than boxed American stuff because Japanese kids took better care of their toys, apparently.
Yeah, and if you're scrambling to hope that the Zone set is cheaper than the Victory set, there's probably not a lot of difference compared to
Probably not.
Yeah,
In what?
yeah, and there was a third version for Dagwan.
Yeah.
Thunder Dagwan. That was a remold, and they added a motorcycle guy that attached to the back, but it's even more expensive than I think Galaxy Shuttle in some cases.
Yeah, so the difference was minimal. I could have got the Victory version, but I actually prefer the Zone packaging. So
Plus,
that is
you have a
really
Zone
nice.
toy.
yeah. I already have. I already have.
Yeah, it's Metro Titan.
Yeah, Metro Titan.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not the
I forgot
box.
about that.
Yeah,
But
so-
it's a simple figure, but it's a really nice figure. I mean, it's just
he's a little discolored, so it's not like perfect and minty, but I don't care.
Yeah, Galaxy Shuttle is really interesting because by that point in Japanese G1, like the design philosophy was leaning super heavily into like traditional Japanese super robot
Yeah,
more than what Transformers had been. But Galaxy Shuttle is a lot closer to like earlier Transformers.
yeah. So I pleased to get that. That's one that I've been holding off on for a while, and I got it. So I don't know what my next big purchase is for a Transformer, but that was the.
I just can't get over that doll. I didn't even know that thing existed until I
No.
saw.
I know.
I never knew
Rob's-
there were Archie Bunker toys.
I
What-
did, and I forgot about it. But
So
I remember.
Rob Stringer posted a photo of that, I think, from Toylanta recently, and that was the first I ever knew of that. I was just like floored that they made, a baby doll toy branded after All in the Family.
So the thing that I don't have, which eventually I've literally been wanting this since I was 3 years old, and I literally told my mom when I was 3 that I was going to crack my cousin in the head with a hammer so that I could get his, was that talking J.J. Walker doll.
Oh.
In fact, maybe that's what I'm going to do right now. So you should go to patreon.com/TF Radio and sign up to be a patron.
Yeah,
at
we're
the
gonna
touch
we're
tier.
gonna need to get the Patreon money to pay Brian's bail.
Patreon money does not go towards Brian's toys. I just want
No,
you to know.
I said Brian's bail
Brian's bail. Okay.
for cracking your cousin in the head.
Well, I would have been 3, so that would have been
Oh,
expunged.
I thought you said you were gonna go do that right now. I thought
No,
you
no,
meant
no,
you were
no,
gonna
no.
like go carry out that original.
Man, it
Okay,
doesn't go
never
for
mind.
much, but I want one in the box.
Yeah, no. I will vehemently affirm we do not use the RC Patreon money for Brian's toys.
No, not at all.
No. But we would use it to bail Brian out of jail if we absolutely had to.
Ooh, this
Oh,
one
yeah.
went for $100.
Yeah, that's a show expense.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
This one went for $100 in the
counts.
box. That's way more than I paid for the Joey Stivic Archie Bunker's grandson doll. But I've been wanting this one for 40 years.
Honestly, when we were doing superhero time, we really needed a get us out of jail fund, but we didn't really have the resources for that at the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I need that doll. Okay, so
The superhero time legal defense fund.
but again, if you're a patron at the touch tier, you can be on History on the Fives, which is awesome. It's great. And all sorts of other stuff. We post exclusive content to our Patreon and such. But we also thank our patrons at the touch tier each week. And again, by the time you hear this, will be like the beginning of the month. That's the time to join up. Patreon.com/TF Radio. I want to thank Kevin Dorsey, Ryan Bona, Emmett Sresovich, Rabbits, Hector Bones, Ness, Joey Russell, Mike Mallory, Jay Rye, Sean Hamilton, Jacob Owen Lucia, Sean Bratton, Spider Bob, Tyrell Gwynn, Rick Mahurin, Blake Reynolds, Vegemite Mike, Jason Tate. Most of these folks have been around since basically the beginning. That's like over 2 years. So they're happy. So patreon.com/TF Radio. We also have our Amazon link at tfradio.net/Amazon. That also helps pay for the bills, and there are a lot of bills. tfradio.net/Amazon. You can buy whatever. Maybe you could buy an Archie Bunker doll if there's one there. Maybe you can't. I don't know, but there's a lot of stuff. You can buy toilet paper and toothpaste and things like that. Or like I did just this past week, you can buy yourself a digital shortwave radio. I've been wanting it.
How much did that run you?
$20. I already had a shortwave radio with an analog tuner. This is a digital tuner.
Yeah.
I bought this years ago and I've been using it for years. This one's going to my 10-year-old daughter. I don't think she'll like it, but I'm giving it to her.
My mom's been talking for years about wanting a shortwave radio for whatever fantasies she has going on. That's actually pretty approachable if it's actually a decent little radio.
Yeah, they're cheap. Basically, and all you have to do to get a good reception is run a long wire and then just clip it onto the antenna, and that'll boost your reception.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can use a monopole antenna for that, and it works great. So, but yeah, tfradio.net/Amazon. Let's see here. Diecast isn't here, but you can find him on Diecast as Diecast2 on Twitter and RFC reviews on the YouTubes and reviews
And was
by
the reviews by Diecast on Facebook?
Yep. And let's see here. Rob Springer not here. Robo Rob Springer, zonebase.org. Happy birthday. John DeLuna not here at that John D everywhere. Brian Kilby at right here. BrianKilby.com. B Kilby on Twitter. Brian Kilby on Instagram. Chris, how do people get a hold of you?
Well, skip me this week. I'm kind of taking I'm not taking a break from social media stuff. I'm kind of just like trying to deprioritize it for myself a little bit. So I'm taking a mental health break from plugging my stuff. We'll put it that way.
Fair enough. Okay, so I guess I'll go then. I can be found on Twitter at Rob Flails, which is the Twitter account for Flail Throughs, which is my YouTube channel where I do Gundam gaming things mostly. Right now, focusing on Gundam Battle Operation 2, because that's kind of my bread and butter, and I have been posting videos completely uninterrupted since the game came out in 2018, I want to say.
That's staggering, Rob, especially since you were in the hospital for some of that time.
Yes, and many thanks to my brother and Maelstrom from my GBO friends who kept that going for me while I was hospitalized. So beyond that, I do SD Gun G Generation Genesis when I have time. Currently I do not have time. And there'll be other stuff as well whenever I have time and brain. I do not. But this week in Gundam Battle Operation 2, they are doing the starting the summer festival. This week's mobile suit is going to be the Zaku 4, and should be interesting. And if you like what I'm doing over there, patreon.com/flailthroughs, and you can throw money at me for it, and I will fill requests. So take a look at that if you like. And I do have an Amazon wish list at tfradio.net/playlist.
Cool. So in the Discord, Jacob, patron, had asked about that Rise of the Beast Bumblebee from Hasbro Ignite, which is the new Hasbro investor event where they show off what is coming up in the near future.
Actually, he's asking about the action battler Bumblebee that was a stolen piece from a factory that went up.
Oh, I thought he was on the post. I didn't see the poster. I know there's a poster for Rise of the Beast, so I missed that. Okay, so that's not from Ignite. That's a stolen thing from probably YouTube.
I presume he's talking about the toy. I just looked at the picture, and I think it does have a mouth, and it is in fact very disturbing.
So yeah, I'm not going to look at it. I don't.
Yeah,
I don't want to say that I don't care. I think I had a conversation. So at my new job, Friday, my boss walked up to me. It's like, I hear you like Transformers, and
that's never a good start.
Yeah, no, it's fine. People know it. And then somebody else was immediately started talking about the movies and how she hates them because her kids started swearing at each other, quoting the movies. and I just, people know this. I'm not gonna lie. I just tell people I don't like the movies. I don't care. I have to stay somewhat conversant in them, but I don't go out of my way to talk about them. And that includes most of the toys. So
in 2007, this will be a short anecdote, I promise. In 2007, I was dating a woman, a single mother. Mm-hmm. She had an 11-year-old son. Mm-hmm. And, the Transformers movie came out. Obviously, he wanted to see it. I, did not go with them to see it. I went and saw it first. And I just sitting there, some of the stuff that was, coming up, like for myself, I was appalled as a Transformers fan that this was an official Transformers media thing with some of the stuff that was ending up in there. It's just like, how am I going to tell her content warnings for this and that I don't think her 11-year-old son should watch it?
Yeah,
it was just like shocking to me at the time.
I have shown my kid the remake of The Evil Dead. I have not shown my kid a Michael Bay Transformers movie. That's where I'm at.
That's kind of amazing.
I've told this story before, but I'm going to tell it again because I am so proud of her. When Mia, the girl in the Evil Dead 2011, 2013 remake, has the Jeep roll over top of her arm and she has to rip her arm off to get out. The 5-year-old, I know that's horrible. My 5-year-old is like, it's like Evil Dead 2 when Ash cuts off his arm. That was the proudest day of my life. Yes.
When I was like 6 years old, my mom let me watch The Lost Boys on TV. I don't know why she did that. She also the next year let me watch RoboCop on VHS.
I watched RoboCop as an 8-year-old kid, and it was the best thing I'd ever watched. I love RoboCop still to this day.
The thing is, like, I watched that at 7 years old, VHS, no edits or anything. As an adult, I can't watch a lot of that
It's
just because,
harder to
like,
watch now than it was as a kid.
yes,
I have like the Criterion version, and it
Does the
The
Criterion
NC-17
version
cut?
by any? I was about to say, but does the Criterion version by any chance have like the network TV cut? Because that's what I saw as a kid.
I don't know.
See, I'm the opposite. I could not do that as a kid, but I can watch it now.
As a kid, I couldn't watch Friday the 13th Part 6. That movie is so tame. It's awesome, but like, I haven't shown any of the Friday the 13th movies to the kids. I don't know why, but that's the one that I would show them because there's like no nudity in it. But as a kid, I couldn't watch it, and it's just so tame by today's standards and by my own standards today.
Anyway, that was an interesting diversion.
Yeah.
We'll see you next time on Radio Free Cybertron.
Don, how do people get a hold of you?
Oh, sorry, Don. I didn't even realize.
That's
Sorry.
okay. That's all right. First, I'm going to give a shout out to Spencer Wild in our Discord chat, tfradio.net/Discord, for pointing up that in the last 35 minutes, BBTS has put up Wave 2 of Defenders of the Earth, which I have just finished pre-ordering because it wasn't there 40 minutes ago when the show started. So big thanks to him for putting that up, so I knew about that. I can be reached on Twitter at HMRC, the number 4 EVR. And also, again, as I mentioned top of the show, my fiance and I are getting married. We are doing a carnival cruise. Carnival.honeymoonwishes.com. We have a slight wish list there. If anyone is in a position to help us out, try to enjoy the honeymoon a little bit better with a few onboard amenities, we would appreciate it, and we thank you.
And we thank you for listening. We'll see you next week.
Sorry, Don.
It's okay.
Recording stopped.
Sweet.
I mean, I actually think it's kind of funny. I almost steamrolled you, but
Cool.
We
Well, better than being
stretched it
rickrolled.
out. We managed to stretch it out to an hour this week.
I feel better than I did last week too. So I think-
well, I mean,
Good.
it also helps that I'm here and I won't shut up when I get started.
but you know what? Since over the years, we became a more toy-centric podcast where we used to really
absolutely.
cover the media. It really helps that you're passionate about the toys and the design. I can give an opinion, but my opinion is never more than, I like this, I like that, and
Yeah,
this
I
is
understand.
why. But you can go into great detail as to why you do or don't like something from a more.
I'm glad it comes
technical.
across positively because when I'm sitting here in the middle of one of those, I will say rants just for lack of shorthand. When I'm in the middle of one of those rants, I'm listening to myself and the words are coming out, and I'm just sitting here in my head going like, okay, is this making sense? Am I staying in a straight line with this?
Yeah.
And then eventually the words stop, and I just hope like, okay, did I actually make a point?
Yeah, I mean, I do that. I do that too. I've done that more times than I care to not to remember. But the thing is, they're so outside of a movie, a new TV show, something media related. Like when the titles leave IDW and go with whoever, that'll be worth talking about. But there's just not that much media at any given time outside of comics to talk about every week. So we have
I
to
would
focus more
love
on
to
the
have
toys.
something like animated or even Robots in Disguise again, Beast Wars. Like I would love to have a weekly TV show that we were just all passionate about and would want to talk about in not in like super detail because that would make the show take forever, but just like, have that to talk about
It got
regularly.
to the point where we outsourced a lot of that to Amy and Nicole.
Yeah, with the comics and the Rescue Bot stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just not a lot. I mean, there was Cyberverse, but those were internet episodes and not a lot to talk about.
Although
each
I
week.
really like Cyberverse.
Yeah,
I just don't watch a lot of media anymore. I just don't have time. Though I have
Yeah,
watched,
I understand.
Though I did watch since Sunday season 3 of Daredevil.
Ah, yeah.
So good.
It's
So
great. Other than the last scene, which is cheesy.
Yeah.
Everything else was fantastic.
I do like the guy that played Bullseye though.
Yeah, me too.
He was wonderfully creepy.
Yes. No, season 3 of Daredevil redeemed a lot of the things. Okay, so like season 2 of Daredevil, I liked the part that was the Daredevil and the Punisher TV
first
movie
half,
stretched
yeah.
out into 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Basically. And the rest of it I did not
I
really
like the
feel
stuff with
that hot
Elektra.
about.
I like the stuff with Elektra too. So
I mean,
it
it wasn't
didn't-
bad, but it certainly
wasn't as good as season
was
1.
not like holding my, and it was not holding my interest the same way any of the rest of it was. But you know, different tastes.
I have to
but,
say,
like,
I was
season
thankful.
3 got it right back on
Yeah.
track.
I went in completely unspoiled for season 3. I had no
Ooh.
idea what had happened. I knew, obviously, from the very end of season 2 that it was going to be kind of somewhat touching on Born Again, but it was Born Again without being Born Again, and it was lovely. Born Again is like my favorite Marvel story, and the fact that they were able to, you know, hit the same general idea that it's a rebirth for Matt, and they stretched it across 13 episodes, and they were able to hit some of they were able to adapt some of those ideas to what had happened in the series. Worked out so great.
I just like I know Matt Murdock, like Charlie Cox, is continuing on as Daredevil. Like I think he's going to be in She-Hulk too and some other stuff. I really hope they bring back Foggy and Karen too.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too. They're great.
Eldon Henson and Deborah Ann Wool, they're both fantastic.
Like,
Yeah.
like I could even buy, based on season 3, that canonically the Kingpin that showed up in Hawkeye is the same Kingpin that exists in the Daredevil TV series.
The only thing I can't figure out is how he would have gotten out of prison again.
He's Kingpin. I mean, it was done so wonderfully in season 3. He could do it again. And I just love the fact that Matt, of course, questioned himself, but he's like, physically, I can't beat, you know, Poindexter, and I'm not as smart as the Kingpin, and he's not.
Right.
And that was wonderful. I love the Kingpin.
Because otherwise he'd be Batman.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, so great. Season 3 is so good.
Oh, did you watch episode 1 of Moon Knight's up? Did you watch that yet?
I haven't read a Moon Knight comic written in the 21st century.
Never read a Moon Knight comic.
So the Moon Knight
ever.
that I know is,
But I like
is
the first
Batman.
episode.
It's interesting.
I don't see the connection. Like everybody says, Moon Knight is DC's Batman. I do not see it.
He's Batman.
No, he's not.
I mean, he is Batman to somebody who only has a very superficial understanding of what Batman is.
He's Batman, and the fact that he
He's rich and he has a cape.
fights bad guys in alleys at night.
And has a cape and he's rich. That's
Yeah,
how
and
DC's
he
Batman.
dresses in a gigantic white black costume because he wants to see them coming. If what I remember from the Marvel Universe bio is correct, it's like he doesn't blend at all.
No.
He's like he has superpowers. Has multiple personalities. He's not a nice person in
but wait a
most
minute,
of those
did they-
personalities.
Did they go with the multiple personality
That's the whole
aspect?
gist of it, yeah.
Okay, I thought they were going to stick away from that because that was kind of.
I've never read a Moon Knight comic that was written that way. Like any Moon Knight I had read was written in the 70s or 90s. So, yeah.
No, first episode really good.
You know, I have to say, I've been like really big on all the new Marvel series, but watching Daredevil season 3 is like, maybe that early Marvel stuff was better than I remembered. At least, you know, at least Daredevil was.
The Daredevil show definitely was.
Uh-huh.
The first season of Jessica
It
Jones,
was wonderful.
phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, that's the one David Tennant, right? Playing the Purple
Yes,
Man.
He's
Yes.
so good. Purple Man is so great.
Parts of Luke Cage were
I
really
enjoyed
good.
several parts of Luke Cage, just not the whole package.
Yeah, if you take both seasons and put them together, you get about a season and a half of a really good TV show.
And I haven't like I didn't hate Punisher season 1. There was
I
a
did.
season 2 of that, right? I never watched.
I never watched it. Yeah, no, it's on Disney Plus now, as far as I know. But yeah, there were 2 seasons of it. I did not watch the second
Defenders,
one.
it was
The
okay.
first one.
Defenders was kind of fun as a payoff.
Yeah,
It's not something that's worth watching, for its own sake, I guess.
I never watched Iron Fist. I should go back.
Yeah, that's fine.
My favorite part of Defenders was the fact that Iron Fist was tied to a chair for half of it.
Yeah, that was a pretty good summation of Iron Fist. No, the problem with Iron Fist ultimately for me was that by the end of the second season, I actually wanted there to be a third season, and they canceled it.
Oh,
I did not want any more. I wanted
that's fair.
I wanted a Colleen Wing and Misty Knight show.
so
Well, that's the third season of Iron Fist that I wanted.
Oh, okay.
so Jacob's saying that he really liked season 3 of Jessica Jones. I had forgotten there was a season
didn't watch
2.
I didn't watch it.
Watch it.
I had forgotten there was a season 2. So I guess I watched season 2 and not 3.
Season 2 was so bad.
It was.
I did not like any of the characters by the time season 2 ended and did not want to see any more of their stories. So I never even watched season 3. That's how bad season 2 was.
See, I didn't have Netflix at the time for any of this. Again, my internet, so watching that would have been probably difficult at best. The only thing I saw, and I enjoyed it, I enjoyed Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I really did. But then they moved it to a late.
I tried. I tried for 2 years.
They moved it.
I got through half the first season and kept falling asleep during that during the episodes and just
you missed a good part of the first season then. But
yeah, I did. I quit right before the good part of the first season, as I recall. So
yes, season 2 was the first time they tried to do Inhumans, and let's just say Marvel Television and Inhumans has never worked.
Well, it's the thing. There was it was this whole Marvel Television was not talking to Marvel movie, and they weren't on the same page. Even though if they were, it would have been so much better because Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. kind of had to drop everything for reacting to what happened in the movies. But Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. never got to be back in the movies to make it more cohesive. They were just reacting to the world around them instead of actually being a part of it, which I thought was an incredibly missed opportunity to have a more cohesive storytelling. I mean, at some point in Avengers up to Endgame, if Coulson had walked in and the team had walked in and something, but they're just over there with their thumbs waiting for their show to
If
start back up.
there's one thing Avengers Endgame did not need, it was more characters.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
There were enough.
Yeah. So it's funny again, like the joke about the Secret Wars, Civil War comic, how you had all the characters battling each other. Then what you got on screen was, like 10 people. They really fixed that with Endgame. Yeah, it was a little crazy.
Yeah, basically they had what they had was a lot of cameos. Is when you get down to it. It's
yeah.
In terms of
fighting a bunch of people that they killed in the previous movie and the beginning of that one.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, people watching live, I want to kill the stream. It's bedtime.
Yeah, I'm gonna
old.
Yeah, I'm gonna hop off anyway.
Yeah. So goodbye.
Before you do, quick question, Chris.
Yeah. Do you need this to be off stream or
not really?
Okay.
But just in terms of things that just turn into a bunch of cameos, now that I have seen the big Torrington fight in Gundam Unicorn Volume 4, is it worth watching the next 3 at all?
No.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Cool. By Twitch. By Facebook.
Well, we got a little bit of post-show content this week.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
I didn't record it, but yeah.
Oh, I didn't even notice.